wonderful. Now, Robbie, you have the ability to spot someone who's hilarious and not like one thing about them and then say they're not funny.
Yes, he's the worst in the world at this.
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about?
I don't know, Hampton.
Sorry.
I don't know, whatever. We're not.
Sorry, you're busy. We only do it 1 hour a week, the show.
I always wonder when, like, we're in the middle of a conversation, but I have something to say to Robbie. The delay, it's always awkward. Now, I know when Robbie edits the show, he cuts that out, but I'm just wondering, what's he doing? It's not like there's this giant board he's mixing. Like, what's he doing?
He's having sex with his girlfriend, probably.
Well, if you must know, it's so rare that I have to ban anybody. It really confounds me a little bit. So
this isn't going to bode well for you in our Who's the Smarter Brother, Robbie. We're doing the Robinson Bowl later in the show.
We have 7 people. They just spell toenails differently.
You guys couldn't figure out how to do any of this stuff.
Well, you know what? I always think about this. I really do, because we're going to talk about the Robinson Bowl where we went against each other. It's very suspect. I don't like it. I don't like the manner in which we measured it. I'm not a fan. I know I'm going to lose, but we're also in his world, if that makes any sense. But then Robbie does these things, and it's like, there's no way he's smarter than me. But if I gave the attention, see, Robbie, you have an interest in this stuff, right? You do. This technology interests you. It always has. Like, I have an interest in sports, as an example. Well, there's really no way you're going to study the game of football or baseball or whatever and ever know it as intimately as I do. That's because you have an interest in it. That doesn't have a lot to do with aptitude, if that makes any sense.
Joe, it sounds like you're already making excuses. I mean, you might have won.
That's what it sounds like. He's being defensive.
Listen, I already know the first one. See the 131s that are being bandied about in chat on this, some sort of logic test. That's my wheelhouse, logic. And Robbie just destroyed me in it.
Well, hold on, Joe. Let me explain what we did here. In honor of the Harbaugh Bowl, the Super Bowl, I want the brothers to fight because it seems like I'm always fighting with Robbie or vice versa. And I want you two to go at it. And I was trying to look for some angle where you two have ever fought over the same girl or had some sort of rivalry. And so I figured let's just see who the smarter brother is. So throughout the week, and I put them all up on our Twitter at Rob and Joe Show. They'll be up on our Facebook and everything too. You can check that out. 4 different tests, one being an IQ test, a quick one, a 15-question one. One being like a brain Lumosity's the site, some sort of brain power test, logic. And then 2 more pop culture-y things, one an 80s music lyric thing, which is kind of your wheelhouse, both of you, and then another one, a movie thing. And they've all done them this week. And Joe, you're already acting like the results shouldn't count for some reason.
Yeah, well, here's why. My brother has the ability to, with a computer, manipulate anything. He does. I know that he does. I've seen it in I could give you a million examples of him creating IP addresses so people don't know where he is. I mean, this guy can do anything. Now, that has a lot to do with intelligence. He's a super smart guy. But when there's links up there, and we're like, I'll give you an example. That music thing that we did, I know I'm very good at it. But I refuse to Google. And I know if I did, I would have gotten every single one, but I didn't. So there's a couple that I didn't get. Now, I'm not saying Robbie did that. But what I am saying is that when a computer is involved, Robbie's already shown that he does what's necessary in order to come out the victor, right? So I'm literally, right now I'm telling you, regardless of the results, even if I won, which I know that I didn't, I refuse to acknowledge them. I refuse to accept them as the measuring stick. And I will be willing to go against Robbie in any live test, battle of wills or intellect. But it's not live. I'm not going to do this. It's not fair.
But, Joe, that brings up a larger question. Who's smarter, the person who gets 1,300 on the SAT or the person who cheats it to get 1,400?
No doubt in my mind, the person that gets the 1,300 is smarter. Now,
why? Isn't there some brain power to manipulate the system?
Of course there is. Are we talking about who's more successful? Because if you say who's more successful, this super smart person who works for, $60,000 as some sort of chemical engineer, or Steve Bisciotti, who has a high school education. So you understand, I mean, if we're just talking about intelligence, I'm ready to go. Now,
Steve Bisciotti is the owner of the Ravens, by the way.
So, which Robbie didn't know. Whoever's more resourceful, is that what you're saying? I guess in this case, Robbie is. He's much more resourceful. But again, I'm not accepting the outcome. I'm not doing it.
Well, I'm judging this, and to me, resourcefulness is part of my umbrella of smartness.
Well, there's resourcefulness and there's cheating. I didn't cheat on any of it, so I don't know what else to say about that.
I'd say let's do it live, and then we'll decide.
Well, yeah, the final round should have been live, but that was Rob's producing.
Okay.
Listen, I'm saying right now I'm not accepting the results.
Okay, well, I haven't said that I'm giving a result tonight. So
Okay.
You guys said I wouldn't get it done. I did.
Oh, I see.
And I got it done in plenty of time. It's not my fault that some people might have waited till the last minute, Joe, and therefore you reflect that you were hurrying. Perhaps if you weren't rushed, you would have scored better.
You're right about that. It's just it boggles me, like especially logic with the patterns and the numbers and so forth. I mean, I dominate Robby in that, and he outscored me. I'm not comfortable with the result. I'm not. Now, Robby said he didn't cheat. Maybe he didn't, but I don't have a mechanism to take this thing more than once. And I know for a fact, I'm not saying Robby took it more than once, that he has a mechanism to do so. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
I did take it more than once. I gave Rob my first score.
Whatever. See, okay.
Wait a minute. Why would you take it more than once?
I wanted to see if I could improve it, but I didn't. I actually did better the first time out.
Right.
So.
Well, did you got worse the second time?
Yes, I did worse the second time.
Then I want your most recent score.
No, I don't even remember what it is. I didn't say
that's the most recent test to determine your intellect. Why don't you give your weight 5 years ago and say that's your weight? No, your weight is what it is now.
Let me tell you something. Even if my score was lower, it wasn't as low as Joe's.
Whatever. Listen, Gramps said Joe is way too defensive. Again, fair enough. I'm willing to take any test live against Robby.
Okay, how are we going to do a live intellect test that's funny and interesting?
Well, I'm not saying this is going to be funny and interesting.
Well, that's the point of the show. No one really cares.
Right. Okay, all I'm saying is I don't accept. By the way, my own father is in here crapping on me, but I do not accept the results. I don't accept them.
Okay, well, thinking that doing a live intellect test on our show is a horrible idea. It's a dumb idea. And I score points for Robby for not saying that.
Well, again, I'm just saying that if we're ever sitting around and we want to do some sort of logic test, Robby's not going to beat me. He's not.
Okay.
You know, this computer, I know he has the ability to beat me.
If one day the Rob and Joe show gets to the point where we hope it was, and we would have live events, perhaps we could put together some sort of live logic event in front of a crowd.
No, we're not doing that.
That might be entertaining, but that is a long ways from happening.
Well, wait a minute. We took this test outside of, and then we talked about the results. Why couldn't we just take a test, the same kind of test, but it's live, and then talk about the results that way? Why couldn't we do that?
I'm just supposed to do commentary while, well, Joe is aligning that shape with another shape, and then he's multiplying by 4. I mean, come on.
They're calling me dumb in chat.
You are getting crushed on the chat. Tell you what, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll go over the results of Rob Robinson and Joe the Retard Robinson.